So we don't have echo, 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 echo.
Yeah, we are streaming. The internet can totally see you. That's what it says on the page.
No shit.
Yeah,
Oh, I see that.
that's funny.
Okay,
Okay.
I guess I need to center myself in the.
You're all right where you're at now. It'll
Okay.
fix itself here in a minute.
I'm actually even wearing a t-shirt instead of, dress shirt. So
Nice. Well, yeah, it's Sunday. You shouldn't be wearing a dress shirt on
I'm
Sunday.
off of work for 2 weeks. I should dress like a slob.
Yeah, exactly. All right. We are ready to start in three, two, one. Welcome, everybody, to Geekvice episode 156, proving any vice with enough geek can become a virtue. My name's Morph. That man's Kip. Good evening, Kip.
Good evening. I'll drink to that.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Kip is off for the next 2 weeks of work, so he is enjoying some cocktails on a Sunday night.
Some
Uh,
libations.
yeah, I have. We're starting a little late because I've been enjoying my cocktail for the last several months, and that's Civilization 6. Was actually recording another episode of Geek Vice Gaming right before this show because I got the kids to bed early tonight because I was tired and didn't want to deal with them anymore. So,
Gotcha.
we have Sunday nights are kind of like our family movie night where we decide we're gonna pick a movie and we're gonna watch something um, and so then sometimes we're up a little bit later because we're finishing that movie. Which I wanted to watch the second movie of The Librarian, which we talked about last week, I believe,
Right, Heather?
and I wanted to watch that one, but the kids didn't want to watch it. They wanted to watch a Christmas movie, so we got on Netflix, found a Christmas movie. Well, when you pick animated Christmas movies, they don't tend to be very long. So this one was only an hour long. So guess what? We started it early enough to finish a hour and a half to 2 hour long movie. So when you finish an hour, guess what, guys? You're done with your movie. Now it's time to go to bed. You picked a movie that was short, so you get to go to bed early.
What'd they pick?
It was some Disney Christmas, Once Upon a Christmas Story, I think. It was a Disney thing.
Anything like that?
It was just like three short little um, 20-minute long animated things. One with Donald Duck, one with Goofy, and one with Mickey. Just kind of telling the story of Christmas. What Christmas really should be about, which is not about getting gifts and more about giving gifts and um, believing and just that being a good person. Which my kids probably need to hear a lot more uh,
I
than
don't
they
know what you're
probably
saying.
should. Yeah, they're well, my kids aren't bad. They're kids. So anyone who has kids now, we are definitely going to talk about Rogue One, and I have several questions for Kip because he went and saw Rogue One over the weekend, and I'm actually looking at the possibility of going and seeing it either next weekend or the week after Christmas, in between Christmas and New Year's, when my wife's got some time off and the kids don't have school, and maybe go in and see it during the day. So we're going to ask some questions about that later. But first, we're going to start off with Kip finding this show that I've never heard of called The Night Managers. Tell us about The Night Manager, Kip.
Well, The Night Manager is a British spy TV show. Um, has some really good people in it. Has Tom Hiddleston.
Oh, really?
It's weird seeing him not playing Loki, but you know you get over it pretty quick. Has Hugh Laurie,
Oh, very cool.
which he sounds completely different than what he sounded in House.
Right.
Uh, the British accent is a lot more pronounced, and I actually really like his character. So the Night Manager is Tom Hiddleston plays a guy named, his last name is Pine, Jonathan Pine. And he is a night manager at a hotel in Cairo, Egypt during the uprising in Egypt. What, about 2011, 2012? Somewhere in there.
Okay.
A few years back, we'll say, anyway.
Yeah.
And he comes across the mistress of the kid of some big time corrupt guy in Egypt. The whole family is one of those, I guess it'd be like Egyptian mafia kind of a thing. And she brings him some papers to photocopy, which pretty much details an arms deal. So I think she passed it on to him, hoping he would pass it on to the authorities, that kind of thing.
Right.
Which, of course, he does. So it makes you think. He knows all these people, like at the embassy, and he knows, he keeps talking about people he knows that can help. He has a friend who's an archaeologist, all this stuff. So you're thinking, okay, he's a night manager as a cover. He's actually a spy. But as the show goes on, he actually gets recruited to become a spy. So now you're like, is he a spy so deep that the authorities don't know he's a spy and now? So now he's a double spy. It leaves you these questions, and it's kind of cool the fact that you really don't know anything about this guy. He ends up going deep cover. I won't give too much of the TV show away, but he goes in deep cover, and they've created this convoluted background for him so that the bad guys, when they look him up, just think he's just a bad guy on the run, and they kind of take him in, kind of a thing. And so you find out nothing about this guy, other than he was the night manager in Cairo, and then he ended up being the night manager in Switzerland, and both times the bad guys show up, and you're like, he's got to be a spy. But then he gets contacted by MI6 to go deep cover for them because they think he's just a night manager, and it's like, I'm not sure what to think of this guy. It's kind of brilliant. It's like, I don't know if he's already a spy or if he was really just a night manager who did the right thing and then ran to Switzerland and just poor luck ended up crossing with the bad guys again, or it was just too convenient. So it's like, I don't know for sure what to think. Tom Hiddleston, of course, is the night manager. I mentioned that. Hugh Laurie is actually the bad guy.
Okay.
He is kind of the kingpin, but the way his character is portrayed, he's the bad guy. Things are going to end up going poorly, but you still kind of root for the guy. The way, when he first gets Tom Hiddleston in on his compound and everything, he tells I run a tight ship. Talking about how he deals with the outside world and how he deals with inside his walls, and you're kind of like, this guy's kind of cool. This is pretty sweet. He takes care of everybody. You don't want to cross him, of course, but if you're, just the way he runs his home, you're like, I kind of root for this guy, but I know he's the bad guy. It's a little bit like watching Dexter, knowing he's a serial killer, but you still want him to succeed. It's kind of that.
Right. Okay.
So it takes place now. I think there's only one season out with like 6 episodes. So, and it's on Amazon Prime. So you don't have to pay for it. You don't. If you have Prime, you don't have to pay for it, and I highly recommend it. If I talk too much, I'll just give away things. But there's the love interest for Hugh Laurie is the blonde girl from Man from Uncle. If you saw the new movie
Yeah.
Man from Uncle,
Okay.
um, there's just people in this. You go, oh yeah, that guy was in Outlander, and oh yeah, she was from Hot Fuzz, and it's just all these British actors you've seen in other things. Unfortunately, I don't know any of their names. I just know, oh yeah, I saw him in Outlander, and oh yeah, she
Right.
was the raunchy cop and Fast and Hot Fuzz, and so that's that part I find pretty cool. But it's so well done. It's so well written. Of course, Hugh Laurie and Tom Hiddleston knocked the acting out of the park. Highly recommend it if you like spy thrillers. It does move slow. It's British, so it's going to move slow.
Right.
There's not a whole lot of action, but there's a lot of tension because he's always putting himself where he could get caught, but he seems to get, not caught. So it does have tension, but it's not a lot of action, like I just said. So if you want to see things blow up and all that stuff, that's not the show for you. But if you want some intrigue and you actually want to see how a spy is built, good show there for you.
Very cool.
Night Manager, Amazon Prime.
I'm gonna have to check that out. That sounds good. That sounds like something I would like to watch.
It's very cool.
And right now you never can tell with my wife on what she's wanting to watch because I've talked about it previously that I got her watching The Blind Spot and we watched season one, and it got to be so much. She enjoyed it so much that she actually finished the season before without me.
That's
So
amazing.
yeah, she got done ahead of me, and then so this last weekend, our original plan was that we were going to go. We needed to do a last little bit of Christmas shopping, so we're gonna drop the kids off at my parents' house, and we were gonna go out to lunch and do a last little bit of Christmas shopping, pick the kids up, and then head home. Well, on Friday, my dad reached out to me and said, hey, why don't the kids just spend the night here Saturday night? You guys can get some more. You don't have to worry about coming back to get them. You can head back to your house, get whatever Christmas presents wrapped, or get whatever you want to get done, and not have to deal with the kids, and then we'll just get them to you on Sunday. I'm like, well, okay, it's been kind of a crazy week with my wife's Christmas party and all that stuff, and haven't had a whole lot of time to do much of anything. And it's just like, you know what? Sure, why not? We'll have a nice dinner and or lunch, and just kind of get away for a little bit. Act like we don't have kids for a while, which was kind of nice.
Yeah, and then you
Um,
spent it watching TV.
we well, but that was kind of the thing. We had talked about it, and we're like, we went home. We did our shopping, which, by the way, Saturday here was ridiculously cold. It was
Oh.
snowing. The wind was blowing. We had wind chills that were in the minus 20s because the wind was blowing so hard and it was already so cold. Um,
And we had
so
freezing rain on top of that.
yeah, so walking around the stores, every time we got into the car and turned the radio on, you'd constantly hear them tell you, if you don't need to be out, don't. Go home, stay home, do not get out on the roads. Well, we were the dipshits that were out on the roads.
That's okay. I was too. So you're fine.
But, we had a really good lunch. We went to Longhorn Steakhouse. We so had a nice steak for lunch and had a good time. Went to when we got home though, we're like, you know what? This will be the first time we're gonna wrap presents before Christmas Eve. Usually, since we're busy with the kids, we just wait till Christmas Eve and wrap all the presents then. But since we didn't have any kids, we're like, you know what? We got home. We talked about it at the restaurant. She's like, we need to watch Blind Spot season 2. And I'm like, well, I don't have any of those episodes yet, but I mean, I could go get them. And she's like, yeah, we need to do that. That's what we need to watch when we get home. Like, Okay, we'll watch it while wrapping presents. So I sat down at the computer, got those loaded up, moved to the server, and she got all the Christmas presents, started getting the Christmas presents out and the wrapping paper out. So we sat down and we actually got to binge watch 5 hours of season 2 of Blind Spot. And kind of the same way you were talking about this night manager, this is kind of funny because we just put these two things on here without knowing what each other was going to put on there, and we just did it tonight before this show. But the same way you talked about the night manager being kind of that spy inside a spy, double agent type thing, that's what season 2 of Blind Spot really is. And that's what it's really kind of hitting home. You don't know, you know a little bit of what Jane's background or what you think is her background, but at the end of season 1, some of that stuff kind of gets thrown for a loop, and some of the things you thought you knew, you don't anymore. And they keep that coming in season 2, where they try to make her a double agent, and it's really interesting. Um, Obviously the cases that they're working on and the tattoos that they're solving, which they don't solve as many tattoos in the second season, or they haven't yet, mainly because it's kind of taken a different gear. Like they know who did this to her, so they're trying to figure that out.
Okay.
But it is very spy meets spy, undercover op on top of undercover op. Can we trick these people into thinking that this person doesn't know, or that we have to keep playing the game that we don't know that they've got a mole inside our office, when in reality we know the mole and we're using the mole because the mole is actually on our side now. And it's very twisted and very complicated, but it is really fun to watch. And it's so much so that it's just like watching the next one. Binge watching it made it so easy. It was so easy to just, you know, say, oh, we need to find out the next one. We need to go to the next one. We need to go to the next one. And I have to say, the actors in it, I really like them. There's some of the characters that I don't care for, um, but that's my own personal preference. I don't like
Yeah, that
stupidity.
happens.
Yeah, I don't like stupidity. So when you put an actor in there that you're supposed to, or a not an actor, but you have a character in a story that you're supposed to care about, but you think they're acting stupid or they're not using their brain when they're making decisions. Um, this is supposed to be a trained FBI agent, and he's being overly emotional instead of logical. That just doesn't always work. That to me, that's kind of that hole in the story.
Okay.
But overall, this show is really good. I really like it, and I really like the way. At first, the first season, you think this thing is really all about Jane and her tattoos, and that she's a victim. And as the first season goes on, you realize she's not necessarily the victim. She might actually be the person in charge, but doesn't know it. And then it switches and they change things again. It goes from then it starts taking on this hint of a environmentalist, what is it? Environmental terrorist group type thing, to where they're really trying to save the world by
By
blowing
blowing
up,
up.
yeah, by blowing up people, removing corruption. It's really interesting because it even kind of it has hints and undertones of some of the political climate that we're even dealing with now, where you know uh, that people are swaying the government one way or the other, lobbyists and that kind of stuff. But almost to a evil type mindset. It's really good. I recommend it to anyone. And the fact that my wife wanted to sit down and watch this show, and not just watch the first season and watch it without me, but watch the second season and actually want to sit there. We sat on the couch for 5 hours watching the first 5 episodes of season 2. Um, and tomorrow we'll probably watch a couple more. So I believe they are on their mid-season break right now. They're 9 episodes in, I believe. Um, so you've got some time if you want to check it out, and you can find it is on CBS, I believe. I should have looked
I
that up.
actually don't know.
I should have looked that up before. Um, see, NBC. So you
NBC.
can,
Yep.
yep. So you can get it on their streaming service. They actually have them on there, and I believe they don't have all of them. Sometimes you have to buy them. Hulu does have them for free if you get caught up, or they have, what's Hulu's thing? They have like the last 5 episodes or something up there.
Something like that. Yeah, 4 or 5.
Yeah, so you could check those out on there. Um, they are on Amazon. I don't think they're on Amazon Prime yet, but if you stay tuned to it, I'm sure they will come up there eventually. So
Yeah, I'm sure they'll show up there once the season actually finishes.
yeah, yeah. So it's definitely worth checking out. Put it on your list. Go enjoy it. And I will say that the first season had a little bit of Ashley Johnson. For those of you who listen to Critical Role, she plays Pike on Geek and Sundry's Critical Role D&D, and she was in it. She's in the show quite a bit. She has a very good, prominent role. Uh, she's kind of the forensic scientist, or more the tech scientist type person, computer guru. And she, in the second season, she has even more. She's even more involved, and she has more parts where she gets to take the forefront in some episodes. And I I like her. I think she's a great actress. And it's kind of funny because I even caught myself in one of the episodes where she gets herself in trouble, and I'm like, Pike, what are you doing? Oh wait, that's not Pike. That's the, because I've watched her for so long playing D&D, and it's great. So go check out Blind Spot on NBC.
Sounds like it's kind of twisty turny. Do you think it made it easier to watch it, that kind of show, binge watching wise, or do you think episode to episode, week to week would still hold?
Week to week is not all bad. Binge watching will open up. Um, it's kind of anything that has twists and turns, or a lot of twists and turns like this one does. Binge watching it allows you to kind of pick up some of the threads a little bit better.
Yeah,
So you can, when somebody mentions something, you just watched the episode, a short time before, you're able to go, oh yes, I remember that happening. So you can kind of put those pieces together. Sometimes if you go, when you're watching only once a week, it you forget a little bit more of it. But either way, this show is still really good.
gotcha.
All right, so um, that is our TV stuff. I am going to throw out there for anyone who is still following Geekvice Gaming and the Civilization stream. There's lots of stuff to come. There's lots of good stuff coming because Japan is finally ready to take over the world. So um, keep your eyes peeled for Geekvice Gaming. I've played a bunch this week, this weekend, and I'm really looking forward to getting those episodes up there as soon as possible. So uh,
Nice.
keep an eye on it. It was a lot of fun. But Kip, the big thing here, he went and saw the movie that everyone's been going to see this weekend. One of the highest grossing movies. I don't know definitely of Star Wars. I haven't
You know,
seen
I
them.
didn't look at the numbers.
Well, being that it's Sunday, they don't have the full weekend numbers yet, so we'll
They
have.
usually get, 290 million. 290 million worldwide, 155 million North America.
That's huge.
That is a monster.
Yeah, it's it's definitely the tops um, for this weekend. It is definitely number one, and it is number
It's going
one.
to stay that way for a while,
Yeah, it's gonna be up there. So, um,
and rightfully so because it is that good. I mean, I went and saw episode 7 and walked out going, that was pretty good. I'd see that again. I walked out of Rogue One going, holy crap! I've already got to buy the Blu-ray. I mean, it was that good. It was when you watched the trailer the first time and you thought, I hope the movie is this. It is that. It's
yeah,
that good. For me, I would put it just under the very first Star Wars. The very first Star Wars. Nothing can bypass that because that was groundbreaking.
right.
Nothing like that had ever existed until 1977. So you can't dethrone that one. But I liked it better than I liked Empire Strikes Back. I know a lot of people think Empire Strikes Back is the best movie of them all. I disagree, but that's okay. I think it's better than Empire, and it's just under New Hope. So what I liked about the movie was a couple of things. One of them is all the Easter eggs from the original trilogy.
Right.
There was so many nods to that first movie in there. The guy with the messed up nose and his friend that looked like a walrus in the
Yeah.
bar, they're in it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Um, there's some people in there that have been CGI'd to make them look like they did back in 1977, which was pretty seamless. I
Yeah.
mean, it was amazing. Uh, the the whole feel, the whole this is a war feeling. For the first time, you really felt like that watching a Star Wars movie. Space battles, dogfights, and starships and all that stuff is really cool. Just doesn't give you that war feeling, if you know what I mean.
Right.
But this had a lot of boots on the ground kind of battles, so it gave it the feel that this is a battle. This people are dying. This is gritty stuff. And for the first time watching a Star Wars movie, you felt it. You felt like the risk the rebellion was actually taking. You honestly felt the life or death struggle that they had to make a decision. I'm going to fight the Empire, and we're either going to win or we're going to die trying. And, with the first Star Wars, you knew it was there, but you kind of felt like, the rebels were going to win anyway.
Right.
This one, it never felt like that. It felt like, they really are putting their lives on the line for something they believe in and something they may never get to see. Spoiler alerts, many Bothans died to bring us these plans. So that's what this movie is. And a lot of people die. And a lot of characters you really like. My favorite character in the movie, oh, what is it? K2SO, the robot,
Yeah.
voiced by Tudyk. Perfect comedy relief. He was fantastic. Loved that robot. Um, just his he was a decommissioned imperial droid that they reprogrammed to be on their side, and he just kind of had trust issues, which was great. It worked perfectly. He was not a big fan of Jyn Erso right off the bat, and it showed. And um, you know, Jyn Erso was obviously the star of the movie. It's all you saw in the trailers. Felicity Jones played it perfectly. She was awesome. You rooted for her the whole time. No, it never really felt cheesy. Sometimes in the Star Wars universe, there's a speech or something given, and you're like, "Yeah, that's total cheese." There
Right.
was none of that. It actually felt genuine, gritty. I'm sure there's people out there who may disagree with certain parts of the movie, but I felt like no scene was wasted. Um, no, it wasn't one of those movies where the CGI ruined it. Episodes 1, 2, 3 is one a good example of that. The CGI was there to support the story. The story was just awesome. Um, I can't say enough good things about this movie. So you had questions. Before I just
Okay.
give much crap away, why don't you ask me
Well,
some questions?
well, the first and foremost question, and this is mine, and I know this is a question that I ask on just about every movie. Can I go take my kids to go see this movie? You said a lot of people die, and but is it is the dying, does it all fit within the movie to a point where you're watching it and you're not seeing, you know they die but you're not watching them die? uh, is it like a typical Star Wars movie where people are getting
Yes.
shot and they're dying, but you don't really know why because nothing actually happened? It's just like laser beams hitting them.
Right, exactly. There's some explosions, so somebody may flip in the air and land, and then their buddy comes over and watches them,
Right.
their final moments, that kind of thing. Yeah, it's not like entrails are coming out and there's blood everywhere, that kind of thing. No, it's Star Wars violence. It's pew 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 pew, and then people fall over.
Right.
You
Right. So
um,
now,
yeah,
my next question to that is: does this movie feel like a 2016 movie, or does it feel like a 1970 movie or 1980 movie?
it's a hybrid. You honestly, okay? So when you watched episode 1, 2, and 3, you're like, this happens before episode 4, but the technology is so much better. What the
Right.
hell happened? How come they took a big step backwards? They took the time to make everything look like it did in 1977. So there are a few new ships you see, but they look like they could have been models from 1977.
Right.
In
Okay.
fact, there's some close-ups of the Star Destroyer, the battle destroyer, the great big ones. I
Yeah.
can't remember what they're called. Battleships, whatever they called them, I can't remember. There's some close-ups of them, and you're like, that looks like molded plastic. I mean, they gave you that.
Right.
Really tried to make it feel like this happened in 1976, and then in 1977, Episode 4 happened. They really took the time to give you that.
That is cool. That is cool. And I mean, that's part of it that I think gets the most appeal amongst, or that's, I think, the biggest disconnect that came from the prequels was that it just didn't feel like prequels. They felt like they felt like sequels to the movie that was just telling about something that happened beforehand. And I know this movie caught a lot of people off guard. I don't know if it caught them off guard, but there was a lot of things going across the internet when this movie was, the week before this movie came out, in that, hey, this is the movie that takes that's a sequel to the prequels, but a prequel to the originals. It fits in between that time frame. It's in between episodes 3 and episodes 4, and that it's that story. It's that story that people are trying to go get the plans to the Death Star that you already know is that they you if you've watched any of the Star Wars movies, they've already got those plans in those movies. So
Yes.
I think it's great the way they're doing this. I can't wait to go see it. That's why I'm trying to figure out if I can take my 4-year-old and my 7-year-old to go see this movie because there is a really good chance that while they're on winter break for school, I'm going to try to find a time to take a day off work and go take them to go see this movie.
I think they'll be fine if they can see episode 4, 5, and 6. They should be able to watch this with no problem.
Well, I took them to see episode 7, so,
Yeah, yeah, it's no worse than that, honestly.
perfect.
As far as violence goes, of course, there's no nudity or swearing or anything like that, so it's family friendly. I will tell you this: you'll want to go home and immediately watch episode 4 when you're done.
And I'm okay with that.
I mean, if they said, "Hey, we will give you Rogue One and episode 4 back to back and you pay $20," I'd be like, "Yeah, I'm sold," because the way it ends, you're like, "Holy crap. I have got to watch episode 4 now." It's just that well done.
That's cool.
Yeah, I just don't want to give it away. It's just perfect. They did it perfectly. Even though they get the plans, that there's that moment where you're like, "Holy crap, they're not going to get it done." And yeah, it's just
Yeah,
it's there.
it's
They
it's
nailed it.
it's not like everybody watching this movie didn't already know how this movie ends because you couldn't have episode 4 without this movie without this mission being a success. Um, but yeah, that's gonna be cool. And that's a part of it that I'm really excited to take my kids to see. I know my 4-year-old, he hasn't really seen much of the Star Wars movies because he really doesn't have the attention span to sit down long enough to watch very many movies. But my 7-year-old has watched. I know he's watched the original one, or the original 4, 5, and 6, and I think he's watched at least one of the prequels because I think he watched it over at the neighbor's house.
Wow.
And then they've both seen episode 7, so it's like I really kind of want to take him to go see this one, and if this one makes them want to watch episode 4, then that's going to be even better because we'll be able to watch that at the theater. We'll come home, we'll put that movie in, we'll make some more popcorn, and we'll watch another movie. So,
Heck yeah. Well, I'm kind of torn on whether it's better to watch episode 4 before you go in, so you can recognize the Easter eggs,
right?
or it could be one of those where you watch it before and after you've seen Rogue One,
Yeah.
because especially when you're taking kids, maybe you watch it beforehand so it's fresh in their mind. So when things happen, they're like, "Oh yeah, I saw this." Yeah, it's just watch it before and after. I guess maybe the best way to do it.
I might just have to do that. So, I don't know.
And one of my friends said he told his wife that it's like episode 3.5, basically. I'm
Right?
gonna say it's like episode 3.9 because it's so much closer to the originals than the prequels. And Darth Vader's in it quite a bit, actually, a lot more than I thought he would be. I thought it was going to be like more of a cameo appearance. It was a little
Right.
bit more than that. Um, there's some people in there. You're like, "Holy crap! I can't believe you're in this movie." Um, uh, it was just for the pure Easter egg of it all. It's
Right.
worth it for that, and then on top of that, it's a good movie. So I imagine there was a lot of fanboys out there that just squeed the entire time watching that movie. It was just And honestly, when we got done watching it, we walked out to the parking lot. It's like I just want to see it again now.
Right.
We'll see it again. Probably later this week during the day because we'll both be off of work and we'll find time to go see it when everybody else is still at work. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was that good. Honestly, it was that good.
That's awesome. Well, now I'm really gonna have to go see it. So there you
Yeah,
go, everybody. You
see
need to
we
go see.
talk about it.
Yeah, you need to go see Rogue One. We will probably. I'm gonna guess probably after. It probably won't be the episode after Christmas, but it may be here in the next few weeks. We will have an episode where we put a spoiler tag at the beginning of this thing and talk spoilers central of Rogue One. So that
Yeah,
will
'cause
be coming.
I'm gonna watch episode 4 probably tomorrow because I have the next 2 days to myself,
Oh, nice.
and I'll probably watch episode 4 and just for the first 10 minutes
Yeah,
because it ties so well that I just gonna have to watch it.
very
But
cool.
yeah, it is. It's outstanding, and I highly recommend it. Even if you're not a huge Star Wars fan, I think you'd get a kick out of this movie.
Very good. Very good. So, um, I'm
And
also gonna throw, and there's, and it's gone. Glass is empty. I'm gonna throw out something else here. So I know, um, next weekend is Christmas. The weekend after that is New Year's. I don't know. We're we're still going to try to record. I know Kip, you're in town, right?
yes,
I'm in town, so we're still going to try to record. There might be a few days where we're a little off on live recordings, but we'll try to get them up to stay on regular schedule. I think I might. I gotta. I gotta talk it over with the boss lady, but we might have a special guest interview with one or maybe both of my shenanigan kids. So
nice.
we in wrapping presents. This will be the second year in a row, which I can say this because my kids don't listen to this show yet. They they are getting a lot of board games for Christmas. Um, so, and in doing so, I had to actually take my wife on Saturday into a board game shop. We went into Collector Cash at College and Flum,
Okay,
and this Collector Cash is very much set up to be more of a playing place and less of a buying place. They've got board games, they've got a lot of board games, but they also have a crap ton of tables, and they run tournaments on a regular basis. They were running a tournament on Saturday when we went in there, and I warned Amber before as we were getting out of the car. I'm like, okay, now there could be people in there playing some sort of card game or something for a tournament. It is possible that they're running something right now. I said, so this is probably going to be a little bit more awkward than me taking you to the comic shop for the first time. And she just looked at me. She's like, "Oh my god, I can't believe." But she was a trooper. She went in there. We actually talked to the owner a little bit. We were specifically looking for Sushi Go,
oh
uh,
yeah, good game.
because we're going to get that for some other people, and they didn't have it there, which was a little frustrating. But they did have a game called Sushi Draft, which is very similar to Sushi Go. I think it's kind of like a knockoff of it. So we got that, but it was really kind of interesting watching her like look. She was actually looking at some of the games and actually picking up the boxes and looking at, and reading kind of the descriptions of them to kind of and so that was kind of interesting to give her her first experience of a board game shop, um, which are different in and of themselves. But we have lots of board games to give to the kids, and so I'm sure I'm going to. Uh, they have been bugging me to be on this show, so we might record some stuff during the day where I record their review of some of the board games that they got. So
Very cool. Yeah, I'm there's a new board game place that opened not far from my house
yeah, I
that I
saw that on our Facebook page.
that I
Mission.
Mission Board Games. Yeah, I need to go check them out. In fact, a bunch of, well, not going to say a bunch, but a few of us are going to meet there on Thursday night after work and play some board games. So if you're
Nice.
free, you should join us. Join us.
I might be able to because I don't have to work. I know I don't have to work on Friday. I don't know what I got going on Thursday. I might be able to do that. So.
Yeah, my wife might even swing by. So if Amber wants to swing by, that'd be good.
Woo. So
Yeah,
cool. Very
very. Yeah.
cool. All right. I think that's good. I think it's time to put a fork in this thing. You can check us out on our blogs at geekvice.blogspot.com. You can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/geekvice. You can follow that man over there on Twitter at Kip Killigan. You can follow me at Geekvice. You can also please go subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's where you can get us notifications of when we're going and streaming live. Because we stream all of these shows live. You can get there. There's two easy ways to get there. One is to type in tiny.cc/geekvice. That'll take you right to the page. Or you can go to our Facebook page, and over on the left-hand side is a uh, clickers buttons. There's a button over
That's
there.
the technical word for it.
Yeah, there's a button over there that says YouTube. You can click on there and it'll take you to all of our videos. And there's actually a subscribe button that you can click on and subscribe straight from our Facebook page. You never even have to get on YouTube. So
Yeah, and you can watch Morph play video games as well.
you can. All of our videos are up there. They're not as organized on the Facebook page as they are on the YouTube page, but you can still watch them there. So, and as always, you can email us at geekvice@gmail.com. Email us and let us know what you think about Rogue One. And email us and let us know what you think about the other stuff that we talk about or something that you want us to talk about. Like maybe Doctor Who, because I've started watching that again. So,
I need to get into that. I never have.
yes, yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Yes, I do.
I'll you know what? I might be able to help you out with that. So, I'll get you some episodes.
Excellent day.
So, there you go, guys. Thanks for listening to our ramblings, and we will see you next time.
Later!